welcome to the Watson Weekend, your weekly dose of e-commerce entertainment. I'm your host, Rick Watson.
And it's Jessica Laseski, episode 30. So we thought we'd switch it up since it's just the two of us and you're stuck with only us in the show. We've got to carry the whole thing. So figured we'll just do it live.
That's an issue. And as you've noticed, we are sitting in a lovely garden.
We are. It's beautiful. It's a secret garden.
Secret meaning it's not a garden, or secret meaning no one else knows where it is?
I like the latter. We're just going to keep it on the down low of where we are.
Exactly.
Mystery.
No one is sure where it is. You're here in New York City.
I know.
Welcome
fun.
back. This is
Thank
your
you.
old stopping grounds. You were here for a hot minute.
I was here for a hot minute. It feels great to be back. Although I have unlearned the ways of the city. I've been getting into cars on the wrong side of the road.
Yes.
About got taken out by an e-bike. And then, did have to get reoriented to the now transit system, which is pretty busted, I must say, since I last here. What has happened?
Yeah, everything's gone to hell.
Yeah.
That is what has happened.
Yeah, basically, and a handbasket.
You are pretty much completely underwater anytime you step on to the street, because an e-bike is like a missile coming down the road.
Yeah, exactly. So I almost was in the hospital, but I made it.
You made it.
Yeah. So thank you, New York City, for treating me well.
That's amazing. On the show today, we are going to have a little bit different style. First of all, we're not going to have a guest, and so you're going to have to listen to us only,
Sorry
which is
about
an
that.
issue. We're going to talk about Target, what's going on there, TikTok, a few stories related to TikTok.
So many stories.
PayPal. I did some posts this morning about PayPal, and so we'll talk about PayPal, and then PayPal and beyond.
Oh, yes.
Beyond all repair.
We have definitely gone to infinity and beyond, or beyond not going to work anymore.
Yes.
There's lots of ways we can spin this, but yeah, we actually have a pretty packed news week. So
yes,
there's we're going to have this little convergence of the headline hangover with the segments, with, again, you're just talking to us. But, before we get started, I learned a new fact about Rick that I think everybody needs to know.
I'm scared.
Yeah. I mean, you're a ho-ho fan.
Well, fan is a tough word. We went into a bodega. I think it was a bodega.
It was,
on the way up to the show. We were together, and I was like looking around, like, what do I want? And I haven't had a ho-ho in 20 years, literally. And like, look, first of all, how many ingredients are in a ho-ho?
Too many.
This should be a fun fact. Look, if you are curious, I would love to see in the comments, if you're a ho-ho expert in the audience, it would be fantastic for you to tell me how many ingredients are in the ho-ho. Sugar, water, corn syrup, which is also sugar.
It's healthy.
Malted barley flour, niacin. Everyone needs niacin.
Yeah, I think that comes from, you can grow that in your garden.
Niacin. I'm going to eat this ho-ho.
Okay. All right. It looks good. Yeah. You know what goes great with ho-hos is a yoo-hoo, which is also a natural drink.
Yes. It's a natural chocolate drink. It comes from chocolate cows.
It does. It does. All right. So you got some fun facts to hit us with?
We have a few fun facts, and graciously, none are related to the ho-ho.
Okay.
So 1788, like Vinny has us on a constitutional kick. The U.S. Constitution comes into effect when New Hampshire is the ninth state to ratify it in 1788, this day in history.
Oh, you know what? That was left out of the Hamilton narrative, though.
Yeah, New Hampshire. I don't think it was in the. It all happened in New York.
And it all went down in New York City. No other story was relevant. And DC, right?
Yeah, DC too. Yeah, but no e-bikes back then.
No e-bikes. All right, what's the next one?
Next one we have 2020. Kurt Cobain. R.I.P. This is going to be a theme here.
Yeah.
His guitar during Nirvana's MTV Unplugged show sells for record $6 million.
I think that would go for more now.
Did you vote it to charity or for his funeral?
Was it on eBay? Was it on eBay Live?
This
eBay
is a
charity?
good question. No, it did not go on eBay charity.
Okay.
It was on MTV.
Oh, okay.
Maybe it went to MTV Pockets.
Yeah. Okay. I'm sure they took their
Yes. And then Prince William was born to Diana and Charles.
Yes.
King Charles now.
Yes. King Charles.
In what year?
It was in 1982.
Okay.
And I think probably like many of our, at least female viewers out there, I thought I was going to marry Prince William.
Right.
And he just needed to meet me.
Right.
And then it was going to happen.
Yeah, but then Kate stalked him, as we all learned on the Netflix documentary.
We sure did.
She was a stalker.
Yeah.
Can we say it out loud?
Apparently, yes. She had a poster of him. So did I, but things didn't work out for me.
Yes. No, exactly.
Say la vie.
Exactly.
All right. Well, thanks for sticking with us through the headline hangover. We actually are going to start off with a story about Target. I think that Target is losing the Target.
Okay.
Because here's what went down. And a lot of it is happening in the loss of their private label brands. So they have 45 private label brands. They do about 30 billion annually with these brands. And they're in housewares, they're in apparel, they're in kids clothing, they're in grocery. We know how important private label has been to Target's strategy. So basically what went down in this global data report that Reuters also covered is the amount of share that they're losing. And Vinny, if you can throw up that slide for us, that would be great. So essentially what the data is showing is that, they're losing share in these key categories. Beauty is the only one that grew, which is problematic for Target given private label has been so critical to their strategy. So I kind of wanted to see, who did they lose to? They're losing to Walmart.
Walmart.
Is that surprising? Who else?
Who else are they losing to? Not Macy's.
Not Macy's. Right? Not Beyond.
No.
Amazon.
Amazon. Of course,
actually, Shein and Temu not mentioned here.
Okay.
Dick's. Interesting.
Dick's Sporting Goods.
Dick's Sporting Goods. Yeah, people are going back. And Gap.
The Gap. Gap is doing better this year.
They really are. Yes. I did not have that on my bingo card of brands for resurgence, but yes, Gap is essentially another brand that they're losing to. I think this is an interesting quote from Doug McMillon. I'm going to read it so I don't mess it up. Doug McMillon said, "We punched below our weight on general merchandise, specifically in apparel and home, for a really long time, maybe forever. The progress we're seeing now is driven by in-store remodels and e-commerce." Interesting.
Wow. And Doug McMillon, the CEO of Walmart.
Yes, the CEO of Walmart. Thank you. Yes, the marketplace is a great opportunity, but first-party sales that we handle is important too. So we've now got great tools we can use to grow the general merch business that we didn't have before. He's gunning for
Target. I think the great tools that he's talking about is the demise of Target.
Yeah. Right. Yes. Probably a little bit of their app, probably a little bit of their in-store pickup. Marketplace certainly doing well, as you've covered multiple times. So I think what's really interesting here is, with Target launching their deal-worthy brands, and they're talking about slashing prices, there's this one group of analysts that are like, hey, they're going to turn it around.
Right.
Do you think that's possible? Is that enough?
Target, not sure they're going to turn it around anytime soon. Look, it seems like Target is doing a couple of things badly. Number one is they're moving too slow.
Yeah.
It seems like it takes them 3 to 6 months to
react,
make any change at all.
Yeah.
Second is they just keep making new brands. And the problems is the brands that they have aren't doing well enough. And so the same people who came up with those brands that are declining are supposed to turn around the business. I think that's the second big problem. Fashion and department stores seems to have bifurcated. So it's luxury designer, or it's how can you find the cheap luxury designer somewhere off price?
Yeah.
Like you walk into a DSW or something like that.
Right.
Or it's dupes. Literally, you're searching for no-name brands that look like something. You don't care what the brand is. You just care. The dupe is almost like its own status symbol now.
100%, because I got the look for less, which has been trending for a while, but this is on a next level.
Yes.
And what I think is interesting is I used to see Target littered across my Instagram feeds, other social media, specifically from influencers, right? Who were promoting all the different finds that they had, their Target hauls. I'm not saying it's completely gone, but Walmart, 100%, huge spike. Walmart influencers, fashion, they've definitely, pushed that really hard. Same with Amazon.
Right.
And then we know the Shein hauls are so popular on TikTok. So I think that the playing field that they had and the advantage, to your point, has waned, and it's just not enough.
And it seemed like, I don't know if Kristen Wiig and Target Lady is not doing it for him yet. They need somebody focused on the brands, not the checkout.
Yeah.
Like the Target Lady you associated with the checkout.
She was, but now that's it's self-checkout. So
well,
what do you do about that?
Self-checkout is where you steal merchandise. That's pretty much what
or
it's
just
about.
check if my lipstick is on correctly, you know, in the camera. Give it a little wink. All right, I got one more Target story for you because this actually may save the day. I'm curious what you think. Thanks to some of our friends in the e-commerce BuzzFeed, Target has launched via a press release generative AI specifically to help the store associates, and it's called Store Companion.
Okay.
And essentially, you know, this is meant to make the associate's job easier, enhance the guest experience, because at the fingertips of the store associate, when you walk in the store, are going to be all the answers that they ever need. Here's some examples of questions that they can ask.
Hit me with them.
How do I sign a guest up for a Target Circle card? How do I restart the cash register in the event of a power outage? That's literally one of the things that was in the press release. So look, here's the thing. Let's just call this what it is. It's an FAQ bot on steroids.
This is terrible.
And can you imagine the experience of the customer? So you're the associate. I walk in, I ask you a question. Now you're just buried in a device, like futzing with a chat bot, and that's supposed to revolutionize my store experience.
Yes, I'm on my phone. What? Yeah. I'm here. I'm the customer.
Yes,
literally.
Exactly. Well, that's the first of all, if you can find an associate, because we know that they've cut them significantly. Right. We know that these associates are also supposed to pick up the BOPUS orders. They're restocking shelves. They're cleaning up, you know, the Starbucks coffee that spilled in some aisle. So, you know, I think that we are asking a lot for these associates, and now they've got to learn this new tech. It's rolling out in August. To 2,000 stores, thousands of associates. I guess this though has allowed Target to put Gen AI on their bingo card. So
yeah, it's a buzzword. If you're looking for Gen AI on your buzzword bingo on the Watson weekend, we hit it
already.
You know, 12 minutes in. This is totally useless for Target. I mean, if a Target employee does not know how to sign up someone for the most important
part of their strategy
program launched in the company's history, then we have serious issues. They cannot outsource that to AI.
Yeah. Well, she's there.
She's there.
Store Companion. Yeah. We'll see how it goes. All right. I think you got our next story.
Yeah. Next story. What are we talking about? It is TikTok. Century 21 in particular has done a mashup with TikTok. So what's happened? Century 21 has been on the skids a little bit. They've closed a few of their important stores, and they're trying to regain their relevance. And how are they doing that? Live stream shopping for off-price shoes, I guess. And so they are partnering with a startup called Shop Shops. And as to do that, they have a whole bunch of brands, Dolce & Gabbana, Bottega Veneta. All these brands, like you're going to be able to pronounce them, Burberry,
Versace.
all these brands, Versace. These brands you don't normally associate with Century 21.
Yeah.
Unless they were like way off. And now you're going to put them on the greatest broadcast platform in the world.
Right.
If you're Burberry, do you want cheap Burberrys blasted on TikTok to 21 million people?
Negative, Ghost Rider. Yeah. So I actually had experience working with Century 21 because we brought them on to eBay.
Okay.
Now, this is like back in 2015, 2014. And, you know, it is the world's largest and most iconic department store for off-price merchandise with really strong brands. I mean, people used to come to New York just to shop at Century 21. Yes. It was like, you
have to go.
It's on your tour list, right? Of the things you have to do. And the problem that we had on eBay was those brands didn't want to be sold on eBay via Century 21. They're okay if it's in the store, in like the bargain section where it's like buried and you can't find it, but they certainly don't want it blasted for all the world to see. So I can't imagine these brands being cool with, you know, a live stream Bottega Veneta bag from even 5 years ago being sold.
Right. I don't understand what's changed here. And look, TikTok is, and we're going to talk about this some more, TikTok is an entertainment platform.
Yes.
And if it's boring, you need to not be on TikTok. I mean, that's just the reality of it. And so if you can entertain someone and be interesting and make the product seem cool and you like the the host and the guest and the people talking about it, maybe they could do something interesting if the brands don't pull out.
Right. I mean, otherwise you're getting, no offense, but you're getting like Steve Madden's. And I mean, no one's really going to go to, that's like not differentiated.
Maybe they can hire Drew Barrymore, just like steal her from Etsy and put her on TikTok.
Maybe that is the unlock. Apparently we need the woman who, from Canvas Beauty, who sold $1 million in her live stream.
Yeah. We need to talk about that. And now she's like packing boxes because she's like 3 weeks behind on her shipping.
Yeah. But they're going to give her a hall pass. Like that would not fly on Amazon and eBay. You'd be canceled.
No.
But here where it's all good, like, cause she's basically just updating the world every day. That
still shipping.
I'm still shipping.
I'm still shipping.
I'm not selling. I'm still shipping. Although I did find she's selling some stuff on Amazon, so she has not pushed out her turn.
They may be an FBA though.
Oh, that's actually a good call. Maybe she might need to be stealing some of that inventory.
Exactly. Do you think TikTok should integrate with FBA?
Oh gosh, this is a really good question. Man, that's like devil meets devil. Right?
Yeah, it's not gonna happen.
It's not gonna happen.
It's not gonna happen.
It's not. All right. So in our theme of TikTok stories, I got another one for you. So TikTok announced their new creative tool suite. If you guys haven't seen it, I've seen like a couple of people covering this, but not to the level that we thought it deserved. It actually deserves a lot more airtime. So we're going to dive into this. In these creative tools, part of what they're doing is enabling creators, advertisers to essentially make things more quickly, because a TikTok first ad has a 39% chance of like increase in scale and getting distribution in their algos if it's created specifically for that channel.
Got it. So TikTok first, meaning this ad was created with TikTok in mind.
That's right. Like I am thinking TikTok when and I'm thinking their customer base. And so what better way to do that than give the advertisers and the creators better tools? So we're going to actually flash this. I'm going to share because we want to do a little walkthrough in a journey here. And thank you to Jason Murray, CEO of Shipium, for flagging this for us, because
we love you, Jason.
We love you, Jason. This was a good find. So essentially, this is the outline on TikTok of what the Symphony Assistant does. So it's an evolution of Creative Assistant, first of all. And it's going to allow you to do these prompts, like very familiar with like Chat GPT style. You can say, show me what's trending on TikTok. I'm new to creating videos. What are best practices? Gathering inspo. And this is not meant to replace your advertising agency. This is meant to amplify essentially the ideas that you already have. So what we're showing here is a walkthrough of someone importing and then generating essentially different types of TikTok videos that has been generated through this tool, where you can pick from them, and essentially in a matter of seconds, you're ready to go. Like you've got your ad here.
Can we stop here for a second? Yeah. Because these are better advertising tools than I've seen on any other platform anywhere.
So if you're Meta, if you're Instagram, are you scared a little bit when you start to look at this?
Like
Google,
eBay,
YouTube.
The eBay ads platform has to be the world's worst.
It's a train wreck. Let's just be serious. So then you can do global reach. So again, TikTok is all about scale and getting exposure for, your ads to different audiences. So you can automatically put it in different languages. You can dub it. It's pretty impressive. This is the one that I think means we've hit Minority Report status. So if anyone of you guys have seen the movie, it felt very foreign in the 90s. Did it come out in the 90s, 2000s?
I think so.
Yeah. It was like, there's no way this stuff
Tom Cruise got new eyes. That's what I remember from the movie.
Did. Well, because he had to like cut out the eyes and replace them, because that's how he didn't get tracked anymore. So yes, we essentially have these now digital avatars, and the digital avatars become essentially your spokesperson for your products. And these are paid actors that have been, so they have been compensated.
Right.
Whew,
yeah.
Relief.
Thank goodness.
Thank goodness they've been compensated. Or a creator on TikTok can come in and create their own avatar as well. So now you're able as a brand to get these influencers to essentially come in and start promoting your product. Not so bad, right? But let me just show you guys. There's lots more here to unpack, but I really wanted to show this guy if it will work. Oh man, this is like beyond my technical.
Just rewind it. I think we're going to be good.
Can you guys see this? So it doesn't have the sound, but again, if you go to this page, what you're not noticing, because I didn't at first when I saw these, all of these people talking are the digital avatars. It has this little cute box. It's real cute. If you see that in the lower left-hand corner that says AI generated.
I see it. I see it.
That's like a Where's Waldo, right?
Okay.
Or Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego? So what this means is this isn't the real person talking. This is this person's digital avatar. And like literally
the people that are talking right now are not people?
They are not people. These are their digital avatars. So they're creators on TikTok. And
they created the hat right there.
They sure did. Yeah. So, I mean, and she's sitting in her car.
This is freaking crazy.
Chilling like a villain.
This is crazy.
Yeah. So this is the future, guys. And I don't know. I mean, it literally blew me away. I had to watch it a couple of times because I haven't seen anything like this. It feels very foreign/scary. But don't worry, guys, because essentially TikTok has also created the Symphony Collective, which is this advisory board. So again, keep scrolling. It's made up of both advertisers. So American Eagle, Wendy's, the NBA. How's that randomly thrown in there? I don't know.
The NBA is on TikTok.
The NBA is on. Maybe they're going to have avatars of the players.
Yeah.
Which could be kind of interesting.
Yeah, they could.
Then you have the agencies. So Tenuity, Day One. You've got also creators on TikTok that have come together to help essentially ensure that this is do right by everyone, right? Do no harm. And they're essentially going to help guide and shape the future of what this is.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's my spiel. What do you think?
This is, so first of all, this is totally coming. I mean, all content, how do we not get to a world where 95% of content is not AI generated?
Right.
I mean, if these tools are in the hands of everyone, then I think all the strangeness that people feel now about AI generated avatars, is this real? Is this fake? Like,
do they care?
Our kids are not going to care.
They're not going to care.
They're just going to care about the message. And by the way, the avatars are going to be more creative than people can.
Right.
Like, than people can be. And so as a result, it's going to be more entertaining.
Yeah.
And so it's just going to amplify the entertainment of the platform. So I am totally bought into this. TikTok, like
you're doubling down.
Yeah, I'm doubling down on TikTok here, at least until it gets shut down. So there's you could get the whole thing could get canceled.
A little legal problem.
It's a small risk.
Yeah. Yeah.
However, these tools are going to be absolutely freaking everywhere.
I think you're so right, because we were talking about this last night, you know, how our kids are just growing up and they're swiping, right? They already know how to interact with screens. They're already living in this very digital oriented world. And if they grow up seeing ads like this, you're right, they're not going to care.
No,
they
will not care.
It's really insane. So I don't know how I feel about this. I kind of get the weird feeling. And I wonder too, on the creator side, are they going to be able to like rubber stamp the brands that are endorsing? Because, you know, they probably care, maybe they don't, about the brands that they're associated with. I just think it gets into this, it starts to get weird in certain areas.
Yeah. But I think, look, the whole thing is weird. Okay. So let's start there. So you're 100% correct here. I think the interesting thing is, what do you have for TikTok? What does it mean for you? One of the things that is amazing about Google is it's a search engine, right? But their search engine is like an unlimited surface for advertising.
Yeah.
So everything a user types in becomes a place where people can advertise and spend money.
Yeah.
TikTok, if they allow creators to AI generate content, then all of that can become ads too.
Right.
And so it seems to me like the amount of content is going to explode, and the amount of advertising could explode too if they're first to the market here. And then like Eric Zuckerberg, who's Eric?
Eric, I don't know.
Yeah, Mark, his brother Mark, is
it's his alter, it's his avatar.
Yeah, he's gonna be it's his AI avatar. He's gonna be left in the dust here.
Yeah,
he's gonna be working with his like Meta goggles.
I mean, that's the thing, that they're so focused on the metaverse and they miss like actually providing value back into the community of creators that they're trying to keep on these platforms from spending more time on TikTok, and also the advertisers who actually pay the bills.
Right.
So is the metaverse paying their bills? No.
Yeah. The question, I mean, I think the question for TikTok is like the advertisers that are doing great and the brands that depend on them, are they enough to overcome the fact that China is spying on us?
You went there. Here we go. And we'll just leave that to
we're gonna let that
We're
question
gonna
just hang in the ether.
All right, you have our next story.
Yes, our next story is PayPal, or lack of a story, by the way.
Oh, okay.
I mean, look, PayPal over the past 20 years has been a little bit of a nothing burger. Like one of the great pioneers in e-commerce. I remember
Oh my gosh,
when
I love
PayPal
them.
started from the beginning.
Yes.
They were giving out money to people to use PayPal and pay with PayPal. Like, oh, if you'll get $5 and you sign up, and then you can PayPal it to someone else.
Remember, there was a world where you were going to walk into a store and PayPal was going to be your preferred payment.
Yes.
Like that was the vision.
Yes,
right?
That did not happen.
It did not.
Now there's no retailer that I don't walk into and use Apple Pay.
100%.
I mean, really, I don't take out my card anymore. I don't even bring my wallet to the store.
Yeah.
Anymore.
Why would you?
And so I think PayPal, long story short, PayPal was acquired by eBay. Brilliant move, by the way, for eBay, not so much for PayPal. They lost about 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then Dan Schulman, the CEO, seems like we lost about 5 years in the last 5 years. Now we have a new CEO at the end of last year, Alex Chris, who seems devoted to turning around the business. So why don't you tell me his plan? I can tell you his plan. Want to hear it?
Yeah. There's a 4-point plan.
Yeah, there's a 4-point
plan.
I think there's a 3-point plan.
Okay.
They're really just 3 small things that the new CEO thinks PayPal is doing wrong.
Okay.
The first thing is that the management team is terrible.
Oh.
And so he told investors live that I'm replacing the entire management team.
So I'm sitting there. I'm like, resume updated. Start like contacting recruiters. Is this the moment? Do you think he had that conversation before, or this?
I'm not sure, but he's like, it's like we're not sure we had the right people, and you've noticed I've replaced most of my management team. So that was like how he led off the interview. Like, well, this is going to be good. He's like, he's really getting down here. Second, here is like, we're working on the wrong things. So it's like, there's too many things we're doing and we missed mobile.
Yeah. That's a big deal.
Mobile? I've heard of it.
I've heard of this little thing called a phone.
Right.
I don't know.
So
flip phones are coming back.
Yes.
Don't worry.
Headline here is that PayPal missed mobile.
Yeah. That's a big one.
If you're paying on your phone, you're probably not using PayPal.
No.
And one of the things I think that Shopify and ShopPay had really capitalized on was the whole idea of guest checkout. Like everyone, like on the internet, especially on your phone, there's nothing worse than a guest checkout. Like you have to type in and
literally the worst experience.
Sign up for an account and type. Yeah. You feel like a moron typing in your address.
Right. Why do you make me do that? Just find my location, people.
Exactly.
I don't know.
It doesn't. So working on the wrong things.
Yeah.
And too slowly. And so I heard a report confidentially from an unnamed source that said at a PayPal event, the PayPal CEO had all the PayPal employees stand up and say, what? Work faster.
Wow.
And so it's an issue.
It's a mantra now.
It's a mantra. Okay. And if you're going to embarrass your whole employees in a setting like that, it's a problem for the company.
Yeah, a little bit. So the other thing is, and part of that management changeover, there was an announcement recently, right? It was like yesterday that they have a new CTO.
Yeah, they have a new CTO, which kind of goes in line with like, I have replaced my whole management team and because the last one was terrible. It was sort of the subtext.
Right.
Meanwhile, like 3 years ago, PayPal said they were doing just great.
They were doing great. And convinced probably a lot of people to double down on their stock. But hey, they have Venmo.
They have Venmo. We'll always have Venmo.
We will always have Venmo.
Yeah, that's where my hairdresser can get paid.
Yeah, and I can just like split seas on some dinner tabs.
Yeah, some lunches. So PayPal, that's really the story on PayPal, and I think what we're seeing here is they're struggling to reboot. And so like in the last few years, look, you're missing on mobile, you're going too slow, you have too many priorities, which means you have the wrong people choosing your priorities. It's a big company. They still make a lot of money. It's almost like eBay. Like they kind of ended up in the same place. Like we're making a lot of money. There's a lot of people who use our platform, but we're not growing fast enough.
No. And where's the innovation coming from, right?
Yes.
Like what at this point, and I think you made this point in your post today on LinkedIn, it's not enough to just play catch up.
Right.
Like there's some places they need to leapfrog.
Right.
And where is that innovation coming from?
Where is the vision going to come from? I think that's an open question.
Yeah.
And we'll love to, like, if you're in the audience, I would love to hear, like, what are your great ideas for PayPal? Because we will like send them to PayPal at rmwcommerce.com, and we will personally deliver them to the CEO because we think they need some new ideas. Copying people is not going to work. PayPal over the last 10 years, if you think about where their revenue comes from, Braintree,
yeah,
and Venmo.
Yes.
And so
Venmo. Yeah.
Venmo is like the only PayPal brand that people still like.
Mm-hmm.
It was an acquisition.
Yeah.
So that doesn't bode well for the innovation team at PayPal.
I guess, like, look, your build or buy strategy, you can keep buying.
Right.
But you know very well, the integration is always a challenge.
It's impossible.
It's impossible. It never works that well. I mean, like, again, Venmo's vision, I think, or PayPal's vision for Venmo was like, hey, we didn't work to get PayPal in store, but now, you know, Venmo's in the hands of all these teens.
Right.
So they're going to pay in store. Not happening.
Yeah, I think it could still work just because Venmo hasn't somehow lost its cool status.
It's still got some mojo.
It still has some mojo. And so I think it can go in store. I think the whole idea that PayPal is going to power checkout in retail, that ship has sailed.
No.
Like some of their acquisitions have not worked out. PayPal Zettle. Anyone remember Zettle?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
It's like the worst name ever.
That. Yeah.
I don't know like what they acquired that 5 or 6 years ago. I'm trying to remember the time, but I haven't never seen like a store that I walk into. It has like an IBM, a Micros, a Square, and nobody else, right?
Definitely not PayPal.
Right, not PayPal.
All right. So yeah, we'd love to hear some ideas. So I think we're gonna close out our headline hangover and / segment. We should I don't know. We need to come up with a new name for that and head into Beyond.
Yes.
And unpack that because there's also a lot to talk about there. I can't keep up, actually. It is like a literal retail soap opera.
It is a soap opera, and it's almost like an episode of The Prophet where you have Marcus Lemonis arguing with himself, calling himself an idiot.
About what to do?
Right.
Wait, we're going to go here, and then we're going to go here, and then we're going to go here.
Yeah. And then what you find out is that usually people end up crying, and like hitting their brother or whatever. It's always a family problem.
It always is a family problem. And essentially they have to shake someone down.
Yes.
To get things back on track.
Yeah. Speaking of shakedown,
there was a shakedown.
The whole strategy could be a shakedown because the strategy is to make these retail brands like backyard.com and beyond.com and Zulily. Remember Zulily?
I loved Zulily.
Loved
is the I have a whole thing about that. But yeah, I mean, yes, and Overstock, which is like it's Beyond, then it's Overstock, then it's Overstock again.
Yeah, the Overstock is there, and Beyond is Bed Bath & Beyond is there, and Beyond.com is sort of like the umbrella brand, and they bought Zulily for some pocket change. I think there's some like I don't know, like maybe a couple million bucks.
They might have traded a ho-ho.
You could have bought Zulily.
They might have traded a ho-ho.
Right. Yeah. Ho-ho. This, like, anyone wants Zulily, you can have it for this. Yeah. So we'll go through that. Zulily it's an issue. I'm not sure why it's going to come back, but it's going to come back.
Look, there are some people, if you are on like the Facebook or the book, you know, going back to the
remove
the if you are on, you know, their brand channel or their brand page, there definitely is some love for sure. People have fond memories of Zulily. They you know, loved the experience. I just go back to what is the role that these brands actually play that adds any value to the customer experience that can't be filled somewhere else?
It's extremely unsure.
Right.
Because there's so many products everywhere.
Yeah.
And they're not developing their own products like Walmart and Target.
Right.
It's just
they don't have a Drew Barrymore
drop ship schlock.
Is
the reality is like all that stuff is on Amazon already. It's on Temu. Now it's here. Okay, great.
Yeah. So why buy it? I guess.
Why buy it?
And I look, I always appreciate the conundrum that like brands and retailers have. Like, I'm not here to throw shade because everyone has their own stuff they're dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
I think it, though, does beg the question, like, if you aren't thinking customer first, if you aren't
Right.
thinking like, what's the role that we're trying to play here and what's the problem we ultimately solve or the value add we're adding back, you really struggle,
Right.
like, to exist. And so I wonder, like, there's also these services that they're trying to shove down
Right.
consumers' throat. Is that a real
Yeah, the
thing?
services, they're going to try and sell home loans. They're going to sell financing, insurance.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. Because we, I guess, need another person to do that.
Yeah.
But there's been a shakedown, right? And also the leadership. So
Yes.
there were 2 CEOs.
Yes.
Right. One in February.
Right.
Dave's been around forever. Dave Nielsen has
Mhm.
been a staple in
Yeah.
the Overstock brand for a very long time. So they had 2 co-CEOs because that always works.
Right. Co-CEOs is the best. Like, look, if you're in the audience and you want to start a business, the first thing you should do is have 2 CEOs.
Better yet, add a third.
Right.
And then you really confuse your employees
Right.
because no one ever understands
Right.
what they should be doing and when and who they ultimately report to.
Exactly.
So it's helpful.
So yeah. So just a few months ago,
Right.
it seems like they were at the home show in Vegas, and Marcus Lemonis and Chandra Holt, the new CEO,
Mhm.
incoming CEO of Bed Bath & Beyond, was on the stage. Marcus, who is, you might call him an activist, executive board chairman
Sure.
of his own company, and we'll get into like
Yeah.
governance structures a little bit later in the show, but he famously said, all the idiots are out of the room now.
Mhm.
But apparently now the CEO who they introduced just 5 months ago, she gone.
Yeah, she's out.
She's out.
So it's just Dave.
Yeah.
But then they also announced, was it back a month ago, that there were 8 new executives that they were bringing in. So what's that about?
It's unclear. I think what's going to happen is they're going to find out that because all these brands are going to be the same anyway, it's just going to be sort of look and feel. Maybe they're going to tier the product and put different vendors in different places, but they don't need 3 CEOs for that. It's not like 3 independent companies.
No.
It's the same company.
It's the same company, shared probably vendor relationships.
Shared vendor
It's just
relationships.
like, all right, let me move this inventory over here and see if it'll sell. Nah, it's not. Let me just shove it over here and see if it'll sell.
Yeah, then it's going to go to Zulily
and
to
then
be
it'll go
sold
to Zulily,
off price.
Yeah, to be sold off price. But wasn't it already off price already? Because isn't Overstock off price merchandise?
It's Overstock, but you got to go in the club, the Zulily club.
Oh, okay.
That's
all right.
why. Is that a Zulily jacket?
No, it is not. Zulily was my go-to for the kids' clothes. That's really how they got their start. It was like, it was great brands for moms who wanted to save some coin.
Right.
And you went on and you got those great deals. And they had those flash sale sites. Remember when flash sale was?
I do.
Yeah.
Now they're Temu.
Now it's Temu.
It's all
and
Temu.
It's a flash sale every hour. Like, or if you're Beckham, we're going to do a throwback. You're on AliExpress. And, you know, again, the Puma jogging pants.
And just hope your kids don't mind lead.
Yeah, minimal lead. It's minimal lead, Rick. Right. It's minimal. So yeah. So any other things you want to close out on Beyond?
Yeah, I think Beyond, it's still, here's what I feel. There's still another shoe to drop here. Because if you're changing out the CEO that you just introduced 5 months ago, then this company has far more serious problems than anyone is willing to admit. And usually that takes some time to shake out. Like, what is the likelihood that this time is the final time that all the structure and decisions are correct? So like in another 3 to 6 months, there'll be something new, big to change. Like, hey, we said we were going to introduce 8 brands. Actually, we're going to introduce 2 brands.
Right. Yeah. So what's the end game?
The end game is, I don't know. I think Mark, this is going to be a profit episode. That's what I think the end game is. And so he's going to use it to push his other franchise.
Okay.
So the grift is circular.
So as the world turns, we'll keep turning.
Yes, it will keep turning.
All right. We want to go into kind of, you talked about governance, and I think we could spend like 1 or 2 minutes here because we know people are getting ready for strategy building.
Yes.
Right. It's that time of year, you know, the clock starts ticking. Right. I need to start thinking about my 2025 plans. Hopefully I've got 3-year strategies and, you know, it's not just living year to year, but if I've thought through my 3-year plans, I'm starting to do my gut check. One thing that we're sensing, and this is kind of happening right in the beyond, is it's no longer the C-suite or even the ideas coming from the bottoms up of the organization that's driving strategy anymore. Where is it being driven?
Yeah, I think what you see is investors driving a lot of strategy these days. And so why? I think you have a couple of things that are happening. Number one is performance is starting to flag. And so investors are getting worried. Like, these are things I invested in 5 to 6 years ago. I expected to be out of this investment right now. I'm still in it. So WTF, people, like, make some money for me. Like, mama needs a new pair of shoes or something. Right. So that's number one. I think second is the management is overpaid. And so when you have a CEO that makes 100 times like what the lowest worker makes, what is their incentive to do better?
Right.
Like, they're going to make $500,000, $1 million just walking in the door, like putting on their shoes every day, just like you and me, Jess. We don't make $1 million.
No. I do put on my shoes.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, got blisties today from
and
walking
your
around
Temu
the
jacket.
City. So but I think that you're right, and I do believe there is this sense of impatience that happens, right? And so if they feel that the strategies aren't executing well, or maybe the strategies executed well, it's just not paying the dividends ultimately that it needs to at the pace that it needs to monetize the investment. That's when the best ideas come in the room. And I think, Vinny, we've got a little tape we could roll.
Yeah, this shows us exactly how ideas come when private equity and other investors are involved.
They really are brilliant creatures. You see, the right side of the tank is filled with idea balls. Each idea ball has a verb, noun, or pop culture reference written on it. There's millions of them. The manatees choose an idea ball and swim it over to the joke combine on the other side of the tank. But there goes Gretchen. She's coming up with an idea. Oh, she came up with Gary Coleman. The idea balls drop into the joke combine and form a part of the new script. Laundry, date, winning, Mexico, Gary Coleman. A perfect...
Except Gary Coleman is the AI here.
Oh, burn.
Burn, yeah. Look, I think there are some very well-oriented investors, PE firms, VCs that do
well-meaning.
Well, and they'll be your strategic partner. They come in, they ultimately want to see the success of the company. But there is definitely this trend of a very tops down strategy that's happening.
Look, you see it with Peloton.
Yeah.
I mean, they obviously went through their own troubles and they were like, sorry, we need a new CEO. Okay, new CEO, you're not getting it done either. Now, Barry, you're out. Yeah. And so that's a challenge. This happened with Beyond. It used to be Bed Bath & Beyond, and then we're going to have a new CEO. Who put in the CEO? Activist investors. They were going to turn Bed Bath & Beyond into this private label strategy stolen from Target. Right? It's not working out for either of them.
No.
So now we have a new investor with new ideas, and apparently that, I guess no plan survives first contact with the enemy. The enemy meaning like the market. So we're going to have 3 CEOs. Oh, no, 1 CEO. And so that is an issue with some of these things where it looks great in a board deck.
Yeah.
And then what you really don't have is like a true partnership between the investors and the board and the management team who are on the same page and don't feel like they're being rained on from above.
Yeah.
Versus like, just leave me alone. Let me deliver results for you. And give me the team on the field to deliver those results.
So if you're kind of in this situation, what do? You
get out. you go. You
got to get out. Get out. Or maybe there is another path of, look, I think there is a challenge of companies trying to do too many things. We talked about this at PayPal, so circling back. And so if you're an executive or you're someone in this situation and you kind of feel this sense of like, we're doing too much, we're spread too thin, you're ultimately not going to execute well. And then your investors aren't going to be happy. And they're essentially going to then come in with the big ideas that help the company.
Yeah, I think it starts with common financial targets. How much do we want to grow? Top line, bottom line, gross margin, not net operating margin. Do we have leverage in this model, or do we actually just need to keep growing And that's the whole strategy. Or
Right.
do we need to grow our bottom line at the same time faster than our top line, like Walmart is doing?
Yeah.
Like they're adding marketplace and ads and fulfillment and like now Walmart Plus. And so that's like a third of their new profit revenue is coming from there. So like new ideas that are actually, I mean, Walmart Plus, like it didn't take off.
No, it took some time.
It took a long time. And Walmart Marketplace, it's like over 15 years old at this point.
Right.
And it was terrible for like 12 of them.
A long time.
A long time.
Really bad inventory, bad experience.
And so how many investors have the patience for innovation and will cut things off after a year or 2 years? And so I think that is sort of the second thing. And then you need to have a team that's willing to experiment and learn and those sorts of things, and actually give the right updates to the investors so that they don't like put arrows in your back.
Right.
You want them helping you.
You want them helping you. And so part of that has to be you building trust. You're upfront. You're not shiny object over here, but things are really, crumbling beneath. You've got to have that. You got to manage your board, your investor relationships really well. Too.
I agree. Yeah, that's a big problem.
It's a big problem, right? And you can't be afraid to, I hate to say, get fired. Like you've got to be willing to put yourself out there and take accountability and deliver, right?
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about private equity and public boards for a second. I've been on a CEO of a venture-backed board, and as someone who's been in that situation, you're very scared of the board. Mm-hmm. You're like, what does the board want?
Yeah.
What kind of slides do I need to show the board?
Right.
Like the board wants to see you win.
They want results.
They want to see you winning.
Yeah.
Literally. That's all they want.
Yes.
And so you don't need to pander to their ideas.
Correct.
As long as you are putting up points on the scoreboard.
That's right. And the other thing I'll add is you've got to be willing, to your point, to say, look, like I get that. That's a great idea. We can't focus on that now because we have a massive cart abandonment issue, or we have a profitability problem. Like we need our margin. We have a churn issue. Our margins are being squeezed. And go back to the customer. What does the customer want? A lot of times the board isn't even the customers of the products that they're like representing or selling. And so you're not the customer. So let's also listen to the data that the information of what the customer is saying and what they want.
Look, you could see what happened with Elon and Twitter and SpaceX, and like Elon is fantastic. Rockets and cars, you go do those things. Don't buy a media company because it's going down fast.
Yeah. And don't tell all of the people who pay your bills to go.
Go
where the sun shines.
Yeah.
Where the sun doesn't
exactly.
shine.
Don't tell your advertisers to go
in your secret garden.
Yes. Yeah. Our secret garden.
Our secret garden. All right. Well, anything else you want to close off? Or I know we're kind of running here on time.
Yeah, we're running up to the end of the show. I'm excited to be with you. Please tell us in the chat, in the comments, in emails. Did you like the garden? These are fake flowers.
They smell lovely.
And if you want a ho-ho, I have an extra one here we can send to you.
Or we'll send you the bodega.
Please,
you can get it from.
please send us an email at bodega@rmwcommerce.com.
Ho-hos for life. For life.
Yes.
Great. Well, thank you guys so much. Hopefully this has been fun. We've enjoyed it.
Yes, we've had a great time.
At least, hey, like two of us.
Come back in New York City anytime, Jess.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a great weekend.
Bye.
See you later. Oh, we're going to...